Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to another edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast. As we're always broadcasting from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Yes, call them today. It's Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. And yes, it's 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. My man, Tim Walters. You could see that I've aged 50 years from that Magic game last night. What are your thoughts, buddy? Let's start there.
No, I mean, they were competitive until really the fourth quarter. Paolo Banchero was truly terrible. You hate to see that out of him. Desmond Bain, the only player that seemingly could make a three-pointer. Franz Wagner didn't make it. I mean, it was an ugly performance. And it stems from, and I texted you about this earlier because I wanted to mention this. That last game of the regular season against the Celtics, where they lost that game, they wouldn't have even had to be in the play-in game necessarily, but they couldn't get. I want to read you this roster from the Celtics that truly sunk the Magic season. Well, obviously they have one more game, but this roster for the Celtics, tell me how many of these players you heard of, Mark. Baylor Shireman. Are you a big Baylor Shireman guy?
No, I am not.
All right. How about Delano Banton? Are you a big Delano Banton guy?
Delano, I have a beer with that guy. Delano, I like that. All right, keep going to embarrass me. Let's go.
Did you know that Ron Harper has a son in the NBA? Ron Harper Jr. usually sits on the bench for the Celtics. He helped beat the Magic in that final game.
He has two sons because the other Harper son, I think, is on the Spurs. There's two of them. Take that, Michael Jordan. All right, yeah.
How about Max Shulga? I don't even know how to say his name. These are the guys that sunk the Magic. The funny thing about that game is early on, they sat Desmond Bain. I mean, it wasn't very far into that game. And then, what was it, a 30-8 run? You see him tying his shoes at the end of the bench to go back in. And I was like, man, what are we doing? What are we doing? So, you know what? It's the Magic's fault. We'll see if they can win Friday night. But who knows at this point? You got to hit a bucket to win a basketball game.
All right. As a guy that's been here a long time, when you see this types of things happen to the Magic, do you just kind of like close your eyes and go, man, remember Shaq and Penny? Like, is that what you do after a while if you root for the Magic?
Well, I mean, so many things have gone wrong for this franchise over the years. And this is just another one where it looked like, I mean, look, to me, if you look at the East, the way it should have played out is the Magic really were probably about the fourth best team coming into the season. The move to bring Bain in, Banchero's development, Wagner, sounds like a law firm, but they looked like, Jalen Suggs, they looked like a team ready to, and they had flashes of brilliance. But toward the end of the season, I mean, it was hard to watch. And now this is what we're left with. You're hoping and praying that they can, win a game to for their life on the road. Or no, is it at home?
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Okay. It's hard. Look,
it's a lot of information.
The play-in tournament is beyond ridiculous. So yes, the game is Friday at home against Charlotte. Yeah. That's what it is. It's going to be a game. They're going to have pyrotechnics. They're going to play music, but I don't know if the Magic are going to show up. That's the problem with this game. I think it's the biggest game of Paolo Banchero's career, and it's just a play-in game. It is put up or shut up time for that guy. From this standpoint, it's year 4. You were the number 1 pick. You want to be the man. Well, time to show up. This is it. And dude, I had so many people text messaging me who cover the NBA or just fans, all that stuff. They're like, can we have a conversation about Paolo? And when they say that question, they're not saying, oh, I really like his shoes. Oh, no. They're asking, is this guy a franchise superstar? That's what they're trying to say after a while. So he had another, 5 or 6 turnover game last night. And honestly, and I like Paolo, he looked unathletic, slow, and predictable on offense. And they were swiping the ball from him, and he's missing threes. And, dude, I know I'm going on a rant here. I'm sorry. But there was a play in the third quarter, summed up everything. He's open on the right corner, gets the ball in his hands, and hesitates to shoot the ball, and then doesn't shoot the ball, and then passes it. You got to grab the bull by the horns. Even if you miss, shoot the ball. Come on.
Well, I think that's what we're learning about him is he's not, his shooting hasn't developed like you would have hoped over the last few years, and I think he's kind of become gun shy, right? And so you're right that play says it all. That his confidence is shot. So when they are eliminated, because I don't think this is a team that's going to go on to win the championship. Maybe they win Friday night. It is, as you mentioned, a home game, which you lose a game and then you get a game at home. Just bizarre.
Bizarre. And it doesn't. And by the way, it also doesn't count. It's not a regular season game, and then it's also not a playoff game. So it's somewhere like you're in purgatory. Where again, I don't think the stats count overall. I mean, like the score, the actual win or lose count, but I don't think it's like, oh man, you scored 35 in a playoff game. No, you didn't. It's not a playoff game. What a world. What a world we live in.
Yeah, those games, they go to the spaces between spaces, Mark. They're somewhere, but who knows where. That's a line from Indiana Jones. And what was the one with Shia LaBeouf?
Crystal Skull.
Yes. When the aliens fly away at the end and Oxley finally has his mind back, they're like, where are they going? And he was like, they're going to the spaces between spaces. I always like that line from that movie. Not a whole lot else to like about that movie, but I like that line.
Look, it was about knowledge. Knowledge is the great. No. You know what's funny? And we'll get back to the Magic. I just want to get this off my chest, okay? If that movie was made now, it wouldn't be about knowledge. No, the great drug in our country now is everyone wants to host a podcast. Everyone wants to get their opinion. Forget about being rich and famous. Forget any drug you have out there, legal or illegal. Everyone wants to give their opinion to strangers. It's the greatest drug ever. Everyone wants to do it. I don't know why, but that's what the aliens would give to Indiana Jones now, a podcast equipment.
Well, what we could do, Mark, we need to start like the Professional Podcast Association of America, and people have to come in front of us as if we're talent judges. Give your opinion. No, you can't have a podcast. Get out of here.
No, look, there's people watching this right now who think I shouldn't have a podcast, and that's their opinion. All right. So back to the Magic. I don't know if you know this, but LaMelo Ball tripped Bam Adebayo the other night, and he got knocked out of the game. Then they found video that he did that a couple years ago to Bam Adebayo. He's a two-time offender of this. And then their NBA's like, well, should he be suspended? Nah. $60,000 in fines, but he'll be ready to go. Look, if I'm the Magic and if that clown tried to trip anyone, I'm sorry. We're going old baseball rules. I am punching you out if you try to trip me and get me injured. Dude, what did you think of that when you saw it?
Yeah, I mean, that was awful. And Eric Spoelstra, I mean, he lost his mind. I think he's still mad about it. He woke up this morning, went to have breakfast, and started shouting obscenities. I mean, it was terrible. And I agree. How do you not kick him out of the game for that? I mean, what are the referees thinking there? It was just, it was terrible. And if you go back, for people who haven't seen it, you got to go back and watch it. It's not like, oh, that was an accident or that. I mean, no, it was goonery. I mean, it was terrible.
It's like old school WWF where the ref didn't see you getting hit in the groin. That's exactly. Oh my God. But what's funny, the difference between wrestling and the NBA, the refs saw it. They saw it with their own eyes. Then they're like, I'm sorry, we can't review it. I never understand this in sports where refs are like, sorry, we're powerless. We can't. What are you talking? You're the refs. Sorry, I can't. It's so ridiculous. I'm not kidding around. If LaMelo Ball tripped you like that, oh, it's fisticuffs time. I am sorry. And the Heat, think about it. You lose your best player, Bam Adebayo, and you lose by a point. If you had Bam, you probably win the game. So I don't blame Spoelstra for being angry after it.
Yeah, and you're right. If he tries something like that against the Magic, what I'm doing is I'm going down to the bench to get the number 12 guy who doesn't normally play. I put him in, and on the next play, he's giving him a power bomb, compliments at Captain Insano. I mean, we're putting him down.
Are you going water boy now? Is that what you're doing? You going water boy?
Mm-hmm.
What you doing? I love when it's like, kid, because it's Big Show, right? It's from, he's like, kid, how old are you? 10, 12 years old when he calls in.
32.
It's my favorite part. It's one of the best parts of the movie, Captain Insano. So I'd like to go to the game Friday night because, look, It's not a school night. I don't have to go to class tomorrow. It'll be a Saturday. Let's rock and roll. Like, if you're the Magic, I hope that crowd is energized. Get out of work early, start tailgating. It has got to be at, as Spinal Tap would say, get it to 11 with that crowd. That's what they need. And the Hornets can shoot. The Magic, I have no idea what they can do, but I'm ready. Forget today. Forget all your work. Tell your GM to go to hell. We got to go help the Magic win that game Friday night. Okay? That's how I feel, Tim. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Amway Center is a great place to see a game. I think that they usually do a good job of getting crowds in. And I think that with this, the stakes on the line of this, I mean, it's poop or get off the pot time. I almost said the wrong thing, but I censored myself. But, so I think that they're going to turn out a big crowd Friday night. I think they're going to be loud. And, ultimately, if they do the things they're supposed to do, if Bane plays well, maybe Banchero, maybe they just need to kind of change up what they're doing with him and try and not make him the guy that has to shoot the ball. And Franz Wagner, you need him to step up. He's really supposed to be your best shooter. And, a lot of people think that he's the 1A instead of Banchero. So he needs to have that type of game. Maybe they minimize Paolo's role. I don't know. You hate to say that about your number one pick, but you have to do anything you can this game to win. So, it'll be interesting to see the game plan.
Well, Jalen Suggs also last night had 4 points. He is an NBA starter, and he plays big minutes. Look, I'm going to play Anthony Blackmore in this game. Here's the problem. It's game 84 in theory. You should have made these adjustments months ago, and that's why win or lose Friday, they're going to go to the playoffs. They're probably going to lose, and then Mosley's going to be gone. But my question is, do you bring back this front office as well? Do you say, all right, we believe in them because this is their roster? Like, you could blame Mosley all you want, but he wasn't in the kitchen putting this all together. So that's going to be my question as well, when you look at this roster moving forward, Tim.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I thought that maybe they overdid it a little bit to get Bane last year. Has he paid off? You could argue about that. I like the roster construction with Banchero and Wagner. I thought that was put together well. Suggs has proved that he's a really good defensive player. As you mentioned, sometimes on offense, he can struggle. But ultimately, I do think that they've built a good team, but it's not performing up to standard. And usually it is the coach that falls when it comes to that. Now, that being said, they're going to have a mid-round pick again next year. So, you're not getting up into the stakes for, a high pick. You don't really have a ton you could trade for it. So, how you build from there. And yeah, I mean, the Magic aren't a franchise that's traditionally turned over the front office too much. Obviously, the coaching has gone quite a bit. So I don't know if this is the year where they'll get gone. Maybe they try it with one more coach and that's kind of their last chance. But I would like to see, like I said, I think this is a good roster. I thought it was the number 4 team in the East this year. And, they're performing as the number 9 or 10 team, which isn't good.
Oh, yeah, they lose Friday. They're done. They're not even making the playoffs. You know what it reminds me of? And I want your thoughts on this analogy. It's like with Mosley. And by the way, I like Jamal Mosley. I do. But it's like they peaked 2 years ago when they were the 5 seed and they lost the first round in 7 games to Cleveland. And it's like they never could get over the hump. And since then, they've gotten worse. Last year, the 7th seed. Now there's a chance 8th seed or not even making the playoffs. It's like your Cubs where they had Renteria as the manager and they had the young roster with all those stars. And then they realized this guy's not going to take us to the next level. And then they got your guy, Joe Madden. That's what it reminds me of. They need a coach to get him to the next level because this roster doesn't know how to win. They've never won. They don't know what they're doing. What are your thoughts on that then?
Yeah, and you would hope that this job is going to attract a really good. It's been a while since like a decent name. No offense to their last few coaches, but it's been a while since you brought a really good name in. There was a time where you'd get Doc Rivers, who's going into the Hall of Fame. You could get some of those guys. I think Scott Skiles was a very good coach, but so many things, and Van Gundy, right? So, but what was the last coach where you looked at it and said, wow, they got a really high level guy to be their head coach? Now, with the players I mentioned earlier, Banchero and Wagner and all those guys, you would hope that some coach who has, some credentials would look at that and say, I am going to go to Orlando and make something with that team.
Oh, Doc Rivers is available. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't want him anymore. This isn't
I
25 years ago. No, he can go retire and hang out with his grandkids, as he said the other last week.
Yeah, that's right. He was the coach of the Magic. I forget that. And he won Coach of the Year 25 years ago. That's bizarre. Well, I wanted Mike Malone, the former coach of the Nuggets, but then UNC said, here's $12 million a year. You can't turn that down. So he's like, I'll be the coach there with Bill Belichick. And yeah, we'll do that at Chapel Hill. So it's going to be fascinating, but I'm ready for Friday night. And by the way, I've known you for a long time. I think this is the most riled up, heated 15 minutes of sports talk you and me have ever done together, where we're just kind of yelling after a while. Okay. I love it.
One last scenario. Yeah. And you're right. This is as deep as we get. And, I've been able to throw in some useless references along the way, but one other scenario for you. What if Billy Donovan, who took the job, then turned down the job, and then went back to Florida, and then came to the NBA? I think his time's done with the Bulls. So could he become a Magic coach? Because you're right. Some people thought he'd go to North Carolina, but then he said, I can't come there until the season's done. And then they said, well, we need a coach now. The transfer portal's open. They go and get an NBA champion in Mike Malone. So now what happens with Billy Donovan? There might be some interest there. So there's a lot that, you're right. Let's get through Friday first, and then we'll worry about all of that.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You're not kidding. Look, we got to make the playoffs because I got to get that T-shirt that they hand out to everyone in the arena where it says it'll say 2026 NBA playoffs Orlando Magic. I give that shirt to my sister every year. Okay. She's got one for 24, 25. She's expecting that 26 shirt, right? So you better win Friday night. That'd be my pep talk for the team. I'd walk in, do it for my sister, Dr. Moses, who you've never met before. This is very important. Okay. It really is.
Can you get her a shirt Friday that says 2026 play-in game?
All right. We can. That's the Magic. We're going to find out. What's going on the high school front here in Brevard County then, buddy?
Yeah, this week we've got district baseball going on. So, I've been chasing down all the different scores for that. Softball, their districts don't start next week. I believe it's the week after. So softball is a little bit, their schedule is a little bit behind where baseball is. So we're going to find out about regionals and who's playing where here for baseball coming up. We had districts in a lot of other sports. We had lacrosse. I know there was an exciting game where Edgewood beat Holy Trinity last night, 9-8. So, that was the girls. Last year it was switched where Holy Trinity beat Edgewood. So Edgewood getting revenge. So, we're coming down to it there. Track. They had their Cape Coast Conference meet last week. We had the results of that up at floridatoday.com. So right now I am trying to keep up, Mark, but I have good news to announce. As I've been our high school reporter looking at the calendar for about a full month now. It's hard to be a dual site sports editor and a high school reporter. We have hired someone. I cannot release his name yet, but he should be starting on the 27th of April. So help is on the way for your boy because I'm exhausted, Mark.
Help is on the way for your boy, Tim Walters. That should be the shirt that you will make. Next time we do trivia, it is going to say that. I think that's what needs to happen here.
Yeah. And Mark, there's some other big news that if you saw earlier this week. So a former player from Eastern Florida State College, she was drafted into the WNBA. You might have discussed that. Our old friend, Jawan Taylor, who, was on the Chiefs for the last 3 years. He is now in Atlanta Falcons. So he has signed a deal and will probably be starting there next year. So, and then Chauncey Gardner-Johnson signed with the Bills last month. I've been writing all sorts of stuff here, Mark. It's actually, there's so much going on in Brevard. We're finishing up tomorrow with our all Space Coast teams. This week, we've released girls and boys soccer, girls and boys wrestling. Today, girls basketball went live, and tomorrow, boys basketball goes live. So, I'm telling you, my hands hurt, my fingers hurt, my brain hurts, but a lot of good things. Congratulations. Today, there's a signing ceremony at Holy Trinity. So athletes who are signing to go to the next level. And over the next month, other schools will be holding these ceremonies, announcing where their student athletes are going to college. An exciting time, Mark. It really is.
Man, you have been busy. That is awesome, dude. That really is. And knock on wood, we've had nice weather so far this week. So we've actually got to play a lot of these baseball and softball games for high school compared
Yeah,
to.
last week was a nightmare. I mean, there was nothing going on. Luckily, they played some games late in the week for our Athlete of the Week voting competition, which I hope all of you out there do because, we get tens of thousands of page views and votes on those. So please go to floridatoday.com. Actually, the poll is closing. It's Thursday, but come back Monday at 10 a.m. I'll have a new poll up for Athlete of the Week. But again, there's just so many great things. But Mark, maybe the best. My daughter's soccer team won their age group in a tournament last week, going 4-0. She only gave up 2 goals in 4 games. So go get them, Space Coast United.
Does she ever want to play another position, or is she just the goalie? That's the question.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know why she loves goalie so much, but she does. But it was interesting last week because, yeah, she normally plays goalie full time, but we were playing in a game. We were up pretty big. The coach wanted to rest some of the starters. So he put our backup goalie in, and then she went in and played at striker, and she almost scored. She's pretty adept. But some of the players were helping tell her where to position. She hasn't played on the field in 3 years. So, she was like 8 last time she played the field.
Well, okay, this is my thing. And we got to get your daughter on to get her viewpoint on this, all right? And maybe we need to get actual professional soccer players. We'll ask this question. Don't you think her playing the field will give her a better understanding also to be a goalie? Maybe what the striker is thinking in their head as they're trying to score. It's just an idea, right? I get like she's doing all this training as a goalie, right? But maybe if she understands the other viewpoints of the field, it might help her long term as a goalie. That's just
and it's a great point, Mark. But actually, the way they train the teams, boys and girls, what they do is most of the time she's not in goal. So they're doing 2-on-2s, 1-on-1s, 1-on-2s, 2-on-3s. And so she certainly knows, how to defend, how to, square somebody up, the skills of that. I think you're right that it helps you learn it as far as being where they are. But we also, we do side work with a field coach because we want her to keep those skills up. So she also gets an hour of just field training with a private coach a week. And then she also has her private training in goal. So, I mean, that people hear me talk about, all of these different things you have to do, just being on a team is not going to get you to the next level. You have to kind of do those extra things. And and she loves it. I mean, if she said, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. You be you, but she loves this stuff. And if there was an 8th day a week, she'd train on that day too.
We need to have it like a 90s sitcom where she has a terrible game and she gives up like 5 goals. And then like morale is down. Oh, and it's like, and then she's out there and it's raining. And then my skit would be like, Hope Solo shows up and tells her, you got to be meaner out there. Right. And if the cops call, you tell them like that. That'd be my whole thing. Yeah. Hope's because we got to figure out who are her soccer heroes in goal. That's what I need to know after a while. Many questions.
Yeah. Well, if you saw the German goalie in the Euros last year, her last name was, I believe it was Anna Karina Berger. She was awesome, and she was stopping penalty kicks, and she was probably the most fun goalie to watch in that tournament. My daughter loved Alyssa Nair, the U.S. goalie, who now they have a different goalie playing for the women's team, but Alyssa Nair was awesome. So I've learned more, Mark, about goalies and goalkeepers, and I've done the history of when the PK started in 1890 and why the distance is what it is, and that the average male was 5'5" in 1890. So I think they should move the PK distance back now because people are so much larger. But I also think they should have 11-foot goals in the NBA because when James Naismith invented the peach basket sport, I guarantee people weren't 7'7" like Wemby who can dunk without jumping off the floor. So there's my heated rant about all of the craziness of sports, Mark.
Dude, I did that once at Eastern Florida where Jeff Carr, when he was the athletic director now, he was also the women's coach. He let me do that for fun where I was the goalie and the women's team shot at me. You are dead in the water. It is one of the hardest positions in sports. You are dead. Okay. And it's not like hockey where I also get pads and I get my stick. And no, it's just that. Okay. It's not fun.
It's just those gloves. And it's because of that when I was helping her at Keeper Wars last summer, why my pinky will never bend again. Broke it helping my daughter while a 10-year-old girl who kicked the ball that hard broke my pinky, yet my daughter is out there stopping dozens of those shots. It's incredible to watch. She really is. It's so much fun, Mark.
What a tough guy. Put this guy in the front lines, right? Well, now you can be like me, where my pinkies have always been crooked since I was born. All right. So, you're learning here on the show. Tim Walters, Florida Today. My man, thanks for your help and have a great day. All right.
Thanks, Mark. And I love it when a plan comes together.